say I still can't complain.
Amen.
It's still a good life living for the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Stand with me if you would. Amen. Going to Amos chapter number 3. Amen. I'll give you a second to get there. I want to say that it is good to be in the house of the Lord and a privilege to be here, to be part of this revival. Amen. Even with all the harassment we have to endure from certain folks. Not calling anybody's names. If he only had a microphone. But he don't. I do. Amen. No, it's good. Camaraderie is good. It's good to have fun. You don't have to be old starchy,
Amen.
Stuck up something in the mud.
That's right,
to live for God.
That's right.
You can have fun. It's fun living for the Lord.
Amen.
And it's a safe place. We have troubles sometimes. We have flat tires. I told them I used to work for NASCAR. I know how to change a tire. I really didn't work for NASCAR. But I perfected the art of changing a tire and not getting anything but my hands dirty. Because as a preacher, you're going to have a flat every once in a while. And they say they get it all over you or work clean. And I like to work clean. I can't stand stuff on my hands. And so I changed that tire in about 9 minutes and on and off. And just had a little dirt on my hands. I went in the bathroom, washed it off, and no evidence. Amen. But it's either that or just sit out there and moan and groan and wait for somebody to come by and change it. That probably wouldn't happen either. So called the pastor and he didn't offer to come get me. So, well, if we're going to have revival, we better change the tire. Amen. I don't blame him. Where I was at, I wouldn't have come and got me either. Amos chapter 3, verse 12. It's good to see Sister Herring and Sister Hood. Amen. Good to see everybody else in the house of the Lord. And I'm just glad to be in the house of the Lord. I'm glad. I did want my wife to sing because she follows the Lord, and she's my favorite singer. And so I like to hear her sing, and I like to see her involved in the Spirit of the Lord. And it's not limited to preachers' wives. It's whosoever will. If you'll make yourself available to the Spirit of the Lord, He'll use you. Whatever your capacity is in the church, the anointing is not limited just right behind this pulpit. He'll use whoever will supply themselves to Him. Amen. Amos 3 and 12 says, Thus saith the Lord, as the shepherd taketh out of the mouth of the lion 2 legs or a piece of an ear, so shall the children of Israel be taken out that dwell in Samaria, in the corner of a bed, and in Damascus in a couch. Somebody say 2 legs.
2 legs.
Or a piece of an ear. And I want to preach for just a little while about remnants for revival. And Pastor, would you pray one more time and ask the Lord to help us tonight?
Father, we're so thankful tonight, Lord, for all that you do for us. Thank you for the man of God that you brought, Lord, and thank you for his wife. God, we ask you, Lord, to bless this word that he has read, this message, God, that you have laid upon his heart. God, use him tonight, Lord, to minister to thus saith the word of God. In the name of Jesus, we thank you for it, Lord. Amen. In
Jesus' name, let's give the Lord one more hand clap of praise. Why don't you look at your neighbor and ask them, are they ready to have church tonight? Amen. God bless you. You can be seated. The word revival simply means a renewed attention to or interest in something. So when we talk about revival, we talk about renewing our attention or our interest in something. It is a new presentation or publication of something old. It is a restoration of force, validity, or effect. It is the growth of something or an increase in the activity of something after a long period of no growth or activity. That's the definitions of revival. Amen. Everybody wants revival. And we talk about having revival. People say, yeah, I want revival, but do we have to come? I want revival. Yeah, I want the church to grow, but do I have to invite somebody? I want the bus ministry to expand, but does that mean I have to go pick up somebody? We have to be involved because it is a renewed interest. It's a renewed attention, a renewed focus on something that has not gone anywhere. It's something that's already there, but it's just being overlooked. Or it's being allowed to lay dormant. Revival sometimes is a republication of something. I'm an old soul, you know, in a young body, I guess, or maybe not quite so young body, but we'll call it young. And but I like old songs. And there's some songs that I haven't heard sung in years in the church that have a beautiful message. Oh, love of God. How rich and pure. How measureless and strong. It shall forevermore endure. Hello, somebody. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. Come on, there's songs out there that we don't sing a whole lot because we got this new stuff going on. I like new music. I love praise and worship music. Some of it I wouldn't give you 10 cents for. Amen. But let me tell you with that, I wouldn't give you 10 cents from some old stuff I heard when I was a kid too. So I'll keep my 20 cents to myself. My parents were fond of the Chuck Wagon Gang hour on Sunday morning. I was not, never had been, and still won't ever be. Thank God for the Chuck Wagon Gang, for whatever they did, for whoever liked it. But I don't like it. If you're the fan of the Chuck Wagon Gang, God bless you. So, you know, a lot of it has to do with what we're interested in. And I've seen people sit in revival services in different places, and we've been a few places and preached, and there'll be a saint of God just sit there and she'd chew her gum and she'd watch everything. She'd maybe file her fingernails and balance her checkbook, and until little Johnny, the grandbaby, decided to go pray. Then she's ready to rally the troops. Come on, somebody, pray for my grandson. Because she wasn't interested in nobody else's grandkids. She wasn't interested in nobody else praying, but when it got close to home and it was her blood at the altar, she said, hey, let's go have revival. And then that's not revival. Revival is when a group of people come together like we have this week and last week, and we put our minds together that as a collective body of Christ, we're going to focus on something that the Lord is wanting to give us. And it's not about who's who and who did and who didn't. It don't matter who's praying. We're going to pray with them. It don't matter who's worshiping. We're going to worship with them. We're going to clap our hands. We're going to promote the Spirit of God. And we're going to have revival. Well, hallelujah. The psalmist said in 85 and 6 of Psalms, he said, will thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee. There's a deep down inside feeling, or a yearning, should I say, that at any given time we want to be revived. We want a move of God. We want to experience. I'm just plain and honest. You know that. We've been here enough for you to know. And it's his fault. But I hate dead church. I hate going to church and people just looking at you like a hoot owl sitting in the tree. I hate getting up and preaching, Sister Creasy, and saying God will do what He said He would do, and almost imperceptibly somebody's shaking their head going, He won't do it for me.
Yeah, right. You tell it right.
Hello?
Yeah.
I hate getting standing up and feeling like I'm a cheerleader. Give me a J. Give me an E. That's not revival.
Right.
I don't make a good cheerleader either, but listen to me. I'm going to tell you what to bring revival when somebody, amen, has been at work and they're thinking about what in the world is God going to do tonight. I can't wait to get to the house of God. And when you walk in the house of God, amen, there's other like-minded individuals that says, hey, there's an expectancy in the air. There's something going on. I've been talking to the Lord today. I've been seeking the face of God. That will bring revival. Hallelujah. We like that reviving, and it's just our nature. We don't like living down in the dumps. Some folks do now. I mean, I know some folks that just like tonight they get up and testify. Well, the devil gave me a flat. The devil's been on my back all day. Bless his holy name. Gave me a flat on the way to church. Well, I'm not going to give him that credit. I'm going to tell you what gave me a flat on the way to church. Whatever it was I ran over that said bump, and then my tire said The devil would love for me to say, well, the devil's trying to prevent me from getting to the house of God. Well, he probably was, to some degree, all day long. He'd like it better if I stayed where we were at down in Mickey and y'all stayed where y'all was at here in Covington and these doors were locked and the lights were off. He'd like it a whole lot better. But I'm not going to give him any credit, let him take any credibility for something he didn't have nothing to do with to start with. Amen. You know what I said if we had a flat? Well, maybe... Well, first of all, I've been talking about putting some tires on the car anyway, so we're definitely going to get some now. Second of all, when we had the flat and I got out there and started changing, I thought, you know what? There may be an idiot down the road that was drunk. We never met him because the Lord may have just allowed us to be delayed a few more minutes. Come on, it's all in how you look at it. We walk around with our lips dragging the fur up the carpet, amen, so sad and down and out, amen. We can walk in victory, we can walk in the Holy Ghost, we can say, hey, whatever comes my way, God's got it already. He knew it was coming before it ever got here, and so I'll just go with the flow. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. Somebody hear me? I ain't even got to my notes yet. David knew about the Lord's ability to revive. Yes, he did. He wrote in the book of Psalms 137, he was talking about their captivity. He said, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. What he was saying is, don't ever let me get to the place that the church is not more important than whoever those idiots were that played yesterday in the toilet bowl. I mean the Super Bowl.
That's right. He's born.
Man, people get all jacked sideways about their team. And they'll spend money. They'll go... I know, we've worked, when we were at Middleton, we worked the Ole Miss games. We didn't go to the game, we were under the bleachers selling them crazy folks hot dogs. They didn't care, elder, to come up and spend $50 and $60 for a few hot dogs and a couple of sodas. A $9 bottomless drink, you should have had a hose attached to it. For $9. But they'd come back and buy a bottomless cup for $9 of Coke. I'm like, man, that's higher than gasoline.
Yeah.
But while they're standing down there in line waiting for a $3 hot dog, a $5 cheeseburger, hello? I mean, one guy come by and said, buy for $1? I said, advice. He said, what's that? And I said, don't come to one of these games with $1. You can't even sniff of a candy bar for $1 down here, buddy. We didn't set the prices, the stadium did.
That's right.
But while they're out there in line, they put up monitors so they wouldn't miss something, you know?
Right.
So they're standing there in line, and everybody's in front of them, they're just inching up little by little. And all of a sudden, whatever took place out there on the field, man, they just go stupid.
Right.
And they're slapping high five. Did you see that?
Come on.
Or if they made a bad play, they said, bleep, 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 bleep.
Right.
Bleep, bleep. And man, emotions just run high over some crazy game.
Yeah. Right.
They're out there butting heads, slapping each other all over the field. When they get up, they pat each other on the backside and say, let's do it again. And people spending money. There's people drive from Louisiana. I'll get off the ball games in a minute. They drive all the way from LSU, Louisiana. Come up there. Now this is the definition of insanity. Back their truck up to a grassy spot out there on the parking lot to tailgate. Set their tent up. Get their big screen TV about half the size of this pew. Put it on a table. Set the grill up. And I'm like, when y'all going into the game? They said, we don't go in the game. What? They just drove 9.5 hours to sit out there and watch TV. And they call it tailgate. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, if I was going to do that, I could walk out my back door, set me a tent up on the patio, get my grill sitting down there, and call it house gating. And not have to drive 9.5 hours to sit outside and not even get to go in the stadium. I mean, that's just dumb. But there's thousands of people that do it. And they'll drive. They said, oh, it's cheap up here. Down at LSU, they charge you $65 if you're going to sit in the parking lot and tailgate. Gee. Ain't no problem. And I said all that to say this. This world is carried away with all kinds of gods. And there's all kinds of things that bring them joy. I'm not saying that you'd go to hell for listening to a football game. Amen. I'm not saying that you'd go to hell for going to one. You know, hopefully you wouldn't. I'm just playing. Everybody,
Go ahead.
flex your muscle. Get loosened back up. But I am saying this. Woe be to the apostolics that's at the ball game when church is going on.
Right.
I'd say woe be to the apostolic that's down at Disney World somewhere, amen, instead of being in the house of God. Hello? And I know you got to go on vacation. I'm not, but there's folks that just go and go and go and go. And church, they go to church whenever they don't have nowhere else to go. David said, if I don't love Jerusalem more than my chief joy, what he was saying is, I've got to love the church more than anything else in my world. If I'm going to be revived, I've got to love God and the church first and foremost. Can I get a witness in this house? Well, hallelujah. I'm not against pleasure. I'm not against. I've never been to Disney World. We'll go one of these days. And my granddaughter's wanting to go. We'll go. Oh yeah, we'll go. We'll find some way to go see Mickey Mouse. But listen to me. I'm not preaching against parks. I've heard people get up and, well, we don't go there because of the way people dress. Well, then you can't go to Walmart.
That's right. Come on. Or Kroger.
Or Kroger.
That's right.
Hello. I don't want to get on that stuff either. But listen to me. What I'm trying to say is this. When the church becomes the priority, revival comes. With or without an evangelist, when the church becomes a priority, you'll preach your pastor's shoes off of it. When the church becomes a priority, amen, you'll preach your pastor's wife's shoes off of it. And you can't get enough of the Spirit of God. When it becomes a priority and a love, when it becomes a true love in our lives, the revival has no choice but to come. Amen. It's got to come. When we create an atmosphere. See, when we go into the house of the Lord and we begin to praise Him, and we talk to the Lord during the daytime while we're on our jobs. And I know sometimes you can't get out, even though I was in Nashville, Tennessee one day and I had to go behind a long section of businesses to pick up some tile. And I guess the boy was on his lunch break or whatever break he was having. But right there in one of those corners, a Muslim had his car parked catty corner. Had his little rug spread out, and he was in the process of bowing over when I went by.
Come on.
And I'm like, Lord, and they'll do that 3 times a day.
Yes, they will.
They'll do it, and they'll dare you to say anything about it.
That's right.
They are so devout that in the city of New York City, they will literally, there's so many of them that at certain times of the day, they block the entire avenues that go by their mosque because they're out there. There's so many they can't hold them. They get out there right in the middle of the streets, and the police have to shut the traffic down. For them to get on their rugs and bow down to a dead God. How much more do you think the Lord would respond to somebody that wants to worship a live God? Not just a live God, but the live God. And you can go to where their God is buried. You can go to where these other gods are buried. But you go to the tomb where Jesus was, and there's a sign up there that says, He is not here, He is risen. And if we begin to create an atmosphere for Him, we place demands upon heaven to come down. Well, hallelujah. You put heaven in debt when you praise. You put heaven in debt when you begin to worship. You put heaven in debt when you begin to give of yourself and of your time and of your finances and of your everything that you've got. You put heaven in debt to you. That's why when you... I was in a service one night, and the preacher, he said, and I did this one time, I used it, it was good. He said, I want everybody over here, when I point to you, I want you to just get out of your pew and just worship God just stand up and just lift your voice to the Lord. He said, I don't want these sections to do nothing. He said, when I point, whichever section I point to, when I point to the next section, you stop, and the next section begin to worship. And what he did, Elder, he had this section over here, and there was a pretty good crowd there. A lot of folks. Man, they come up out of their pew worshiping God. Holy Ghost began to move. And he pointed to this section over here. Skip the middle section. These people come up out of the pews worshiping God, and those people were trying to shut it down. And this center section just exploded. You know why? Because they felt the transferring of the Spirit of God. That anointing of the Holy Ghost is going to follow amen, the conduit that it's allowed to work in. And if you're worshiping on that side of the building and somebody over here begins to worship on this side of the building, amen, they may try to set like a knot on a dill pickle right here. But I promise you, somebody's fixing to feel the Spirit of God sweep over them as it's finding that person or that place where there's an atmosphere created for it. Hello. Telling you the truth. Isaiah 57:5. He said, a contrite and humble spirit. 57:15. Let me read it to you. Thought I had it marked here. There we go. He said, for thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I will dwell in the high and holy place with him.
With him.
Look at somebody and say, he's talking about you. With him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. The Lord said, if you are humble and you are contrite, you look that up. I don't have time to preach about that right now. But if you will keep your spirit right, he said, I will dwell with you.
Amen.
Where did he say he dwells? In the high and holy place. And he said there's going to be somebody, if they'll keep their spirit right, I'm going to put them in a high and holy place with me. And I'm going to revive the contrite and I'm going to revive the humble. Somebody hear me. Amen. It is the will of God for you to let the Spirit of the Lord revive you, and he's not going to keep you in a low place.
Thank you, Jesus.
He's going to get you into a place where you can move. The Bible says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, and what? He shall lift you up. Submit yourselves therefore unto God. We like that next verse, next portion of that verse. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. But you got to submit yourself first.
Amen. Submission first.
If you walk in submission, if you walk in humility, if you walk with a contrite spirit, heaven's fixing to show up. And it's not going to just show up, it's going to show out on your behalf.
All right.
It don't matter what hell you're fighting. And I'm talking about H-E-L-L. Hell. Amen. I don't care what you're going through. Hello, somebody. We already covered the stones. Now, when the fire of hell is looking at your feet, amen, what are you going to do? Amen, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Submit yourself therefore unto God. Amen. And it don't matter what the devil's brought against you. It don't matter how hot he's made it. It don't matter how tight he's made it. If you submit yourself to God, the Bible says that you can resist.
Amen.
Somewhere you got to say, wait a minute, devil. This is coming to an end. Resist him. When he says you're fixing to die, you ought to look at him and say, you ought to. When he says you're not going to make it, you say, you didn't make it the first time. Come on, somebody. You got to put it back on him. When he says you'll never be strong enough, you say, you ought to know about weakness because you couldn't live for God when there was no devil. Come on. When he starts talking about the power that he's got, you ought to look at him and say, hey, you only took a third of heaven's angels with you. That means we got 2/3 left, and 2 is always twice the... What one is?
You're right. Amen.
At least where I went to school. 2's always double of 1. Remember that, elder? You probably need to bring 2 when you come. I'm messing with you. The race is not won by the loudest.
Right.
It's not won by the fastest.
Right.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. A lot of times people, I get worried about some folks because they shoot up real quick. Man, they come in and they want to know about every standard sent to Moses.
Oh.
I want to do it. Just tell me what I got to do. And I believe in standards.
Yeah,
And I'm not fixing to go there, so don't get... Revival will come when all that's right too. Let me just throw that in for good measure.
that's right.
And I got sidetracked.
It's okay.
Listen to me. Just move forward. Man. When we endure and we're steadfast and we become unmovable, it's not how fast we grow, but if we grow. When we try to grow so fast, I got my thought back. We shoot up so fast, and so hard, and so high, so quick. If you're not careful, you'll do what airplanes do sometimes.
Yeah.
When they start going too high and too straight up, sometimes their engines begin to stall. And if they don't get that thing leveled out pretty quick,
Yeah, they got trouble.
when you're in the plane and you got one engine and it quits,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Right.
And it'll crash and burn. I heard a message preached one time that you only force to grow what you wish to kill. And if you force it to grow, you'll kill it.
Right.
A lot of times, a lot of these new genetics that they come out with planting, I'm not a farmer, don't claim to be one, don't intend to learn how. I plow the garden, my wife does the planting, the picking, the hoeing, everything else. Praise God. That's our agreement. Oh, don't bless her heart. I hate working in the garden, okay? I work for a living and I don't want to come home and hoe a garden, okay? That's just my...
Same here.
See? But listen to me. The principle is simply this. If you get something that you force to grow, in forcing the process, you remove some of the vital elements that are necessary to sustain it.
Right.
Listen to me. It's not so important that you grow to be like Sister Creasy on day one.
Right.
She didn't get there on day one.
Right.
But the important thing is, are you growing toward being like Sister Creasy?
Right.
Hello, somebody.
Yeah, you preach it.
Are you growing toward being like Pastor Creasy? Because you are to pattern yourself after him. If he can do it, it's okay for you to do it. If he says, I ain't going to have it in my house, then you ought not have it in your house. Well, hello, let me just go ahead and preach a little bit and talk about revival. We can only force to grow things that we do not really want to keep. And we can push up and pump up revival. Elder, we get somebody come in here and man, we just get it going and slap them down on the floor and tell them they got the Holy Ghost and la 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 la. Come on, see my ta ta ta. Oh, you got it, you got it, you got it. And when they walk out the door, they're no better off. But if we'll let the Spirit of God, if we'll get a few people that'll throw their hands up and say, hey, I may not be able to pray in the altar, but I can create an atmosphere for the Spirit of the Lord to move. It ain't so much how many people can pray with them, but can we create an atmosphere that the Spirit of the Lord has liberty in, and it can begin to move and begin to work. And then a lot of times we don't even have to lay hands on them.
Right.
Amen. Let me hurry because I got sidetracked. Back to our text, and I'm almost done. In Amos, he said this. Thus saith the Lord, as the shepherd taketh out of the mouth of the lion 2 legs, or a piece of an ear, so shall the children of Israel be taken out that dwell in Samaria in the corner of a bed, and Damascus in a couch. What was the children of Israel doing in Samaria? It was a place that was forbidden.
That's right. That's right.
It was a place that was despised. Now we know the parables. In more than one place, the Samaritan was the one that returned to the Lord.
Right.
The Samaritan is one that got the man well, that tended to the guy that fell among thieves.
Right.
Yeah? The priest, you know, the preacher, all them guys, all the hooty snooties walked by, and there was a Samaritan that stopped to help him. But you listen to me. Samaria in and of itself was a washpot of sin. And the children of Israel were forbidden to go to Samaria. You don't need to be down there. You don't need to be hanging around those folks. They're not right. They're not pure. It was a place despised. But the Lord said, the shepherd, just like he takes out of the mouth of the lion 2 legs or a piece of an ear, the children of Israel shall be taken out that dwell in Samaria in the corner of a bed.
Right.
What he was saying is simply this. The prophet Amos was writing, and he said, there's going to be a time that comes that the children of Israel are going to be in another desperate place.
Right. Thank you, Jesus.
And he said also, in Damascus, in a couch. Let me tell you this. When you go to the world, it is going to do one thing.
Right.
Destroy you.
Right.
Damascus was a place of lushness. It was a place of fertility. It was a place that to the eye, it looked wonderful. It was an oasis.
Right.
Such a contrast to Samaria. But it was rooted in false doctrine.
Come on. Right.
And so the writer paints a picture of 2 scenarios. You've got Samaria, which is nasty, ugly, wretched, poor, just a washpot of anything and everything. And then you've got over here on the other side a place of fertility,
Right.
lushness. Man, it's beautiful homes, gardens. Surely there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
He said, yeah, but they teach false doctrine.
Right.
And so the context of what I'm trying to preach tonight is simply this. The Lord said that He was going to take pieces out of both of those places.
That's right.
And when I read these scriptures, and I hadn't preached this message but twice or 3 times since probably 2010. But when this revival started, Pastor, the Lord spoke to me and said, at some point in this revival, I want you to look up those notes. I'm going to let you know when. And He gave me this title to look up. Because I don't just go through and, well, let me see what I'm going to preach tonight. But He dealt with me specifically. He said, because there's some people that if they're not careful, the devil is trying to take them to Samaria. There may be some that have already been in Samaria, and you've already experienced the horrible things of the world.
Right. Yes, sir.
And it has decimated you.
Right.
And it's took some things away from you. And it's torn down some things.
Right.
Hello, somebody.
Good.
Now, I'm just about done, so don't quit on me now. Amen. But there's others that you may have felt like that you were in the best place you've ever been. It's all going good. The finances are flowing. The cars are good. The houses is good. We got it going on. But somewhere the doctrine got messed up.
Right.
The devil led somebody to believe that they could participate in sin, Pastor,
Right.
and still be saved. That somebody could participate in the things of this world and still be okay.
Right.
Now I know this is different from last night, but this is what the Lord gave me. The Bible, He said that they 2 legs and a piece of an ear. And the word remnants just came to me when the Lord first gave me this message. And He said, just like I took remnants out of Damascus, and just like I took some remnants out of Samaria, somebody is going to be sitting in the house of God and feel like that you really don't have anything to offer the Lord. Because your world is in remnants. Your life has been shattered. And it may not be that you are just down on your luck and everything's just fell apart. But it may even be that your spiritual man has been suffering. And it hasn't been nourished like it should. And there's just pieces.
Thank you, Lord.
And the Lord said, I want you to tell somebody that if they'll just bring their pieces to the Lord, I can take 2 legs and just a piece of an ear, and I can build a new body. I can take 2 legs or a piece of an ear. If I can just get the piece of an ear, I'm not going to take it off of you, brother. Pull it away just a little bit. Just a little bit. There ain't much left, Brother Foster. You don't know what the devil's done to me. It don't really matter. The Lord said, if he can just look and see just a little piece of an ear, that's all He needs. He can take just a little bit and start fashioning a body back around just a little bit. And He can start putting the things there that needs to be there. And He can go from the ear to the head, to the neck, to the shoulders, and then all the way down to the feet. He can build back what Satan has tried to destroy. Come on, somebody, stand to your feet right now, would you? I'm talking about remnants for revival. Amen. I'm closing. Come to the music. There are remnants for revival that you have brought to the house of God. And I'll tell you what they're waiting on. They're waiting on the redemptive word of the Lord. They're waiting on something to get a hold of nothing and make something beautiful out of it. And all the obligation for you is, if you'll bring a leg or a piece of an ear to the altar, the Lord will redeem that little bitty scrap of nothing and begin to build something around it. Amen. I'm talking about remnants for revival. Who wants revival in the house of the Lord? Who would walk to this front tonight and say, you know what? I ain't got a whole lot to offer God, but I know that the Lord has talked to me, and I'm bringing my pieces to the Lord. I'm going to bring what I've got left, and I'm going to bring it to the altar, and I'm going to let God do a redemptive work in my life. Come on, somebody pray right now. Somebody pray. Come on, somebody pray. Come on, the redemptive word has already been spoken. God is willing. He is able. He is desirous of you to come and let Him build with what you have. Come on. It ain't saying that you are backslid if you walk to this altar. It's saying, hey, I am in need of the Lord. I am in need of the touch of God. I need the help of the Lord. Come on, I'm preaching about revival tonight. I'm preaching about remnants. Come on, bring what you have to the Lord. And let God redeem it. Come on. Oh, come on, somebody pray right now. Come on, it's just us tonight. Come on, it's just us tonight. Here I am, Lord. Come on, I'm giving you everything I've got. Come on, the devil may have been beating you down. You ought to walk to this altar and say, hey, I'm giving you, Lord, everything I've got for the redemptive word of the Lord. Remnants, come on. Some of you have shattered dreams that the devil's told you it'll never happen. God do what He told you. Amen. Why don't you bring the pieces of your dream to the Lord and watch God build the miraculous on it. Come on, I'm preaching to somebody. Amen. God is on your side. God is calling you. God's calling you. Come on. Come on. God's calling you right now. Oh, God's calling right now. Come on. God's calling. The redemptive word of the Lord is waiting on you. He's waiting on you to bring your pieces to Him, to bring your stuff to Him, to bring your shards and shatters to Him, and watch Him redeem it and make something beautiful out of it. Come on. Come on. I feel the Holy Ghost in this house right now. The glory of the Lord is here. God wants to repair. He wants to restore. He wants to renew some things in your world. Let the Spirit of the Lord help you right now. In the name of Jesus.
That you can make worthy. You wash
Here I am, Lord. Oh God, all I've got is a leg, Lord. All I've got's a piece of an ear, Lord. He said, that's all I need. That's really all I needed. I just needed something for you to bring something to me. Come on. How about it? Would somebody pray right now? Would somebody pray right now? Would somebody pray? Come on, would somebody pray right now?
My heart's beating inside my chest. Oh, I'm coming alive with joy and destiny. Joy
In the name of Jesus. Come on, how about it, somebody? Woo. Come on, those pieces are just waiting on the redemptive word of the Lord. Those pieces are just waiting on the redemptive word of God. Come on. Come on. In the name of Jesus. In the name of the Lord.
There's nothing too dirty.
God help me. Oh, God, He's gonna make something great out of you.
Wash me clean. Oh, I am clean. I see shadows. You see whole.
Jesus' name.
Be broken, but you see beautiful. And you're helping me to believe. You're restoring peace, peace by peace. There's nothing too dirty that you can make worthy. Wash me with mercy.
Jesus.
Oh, I am clean. There's nothing too dirty that you can make worthy. Wash me with mercy. Oh, I am clean. What is it now? Live again. My heart's beating inside my chest. Oh,
In the name of Jesus.
joy and destiny. Oh, restoring me, peace by peace. There's nothing too dirty that you can make worthy. Wash me mercy.
Come on, somebody pray.
I am clean.
Somebody pray. Come on. It is the will of God that we walk out of here encouraged. It is the will of God that we walk out understanding that regardless of what hell has tried to throw up against us, amen, our God is greater. Our God is stronger. He's more powerful. He's on our side. He's for us. In the name of Jesus.
Oh, I am clean. that you were worthy. You washed me in mercy. Oh, I am clean. I see shattered. You see whole. I see broken.
Come on, somebody. Come on. We see broken, but God sees something put together. Come on. The Spirit of the Lord looks through different eyes than what we look through for our natural man. Oh, come on. We serve a mighty awesome God that is on our side. He's for us. Come on, He's for us. He's on our side. He's for us. We'll just bring our remnants. He will revive. He will revive. He'll build something beautiful from our remnants tonight. Holy Ghost, God, we bless your name. Oh, we bless the name of the Lord. Can somebody worship Him right now? Come on, can somebody just worship Him right now? Come on, let's enjoy the presence of the Lord. Holy Ghost, here we are, God. We're giving our everything that we have, regardless of condition, God. We give it to you so that you can move through it. Revive, God. Restore, Lord. I'm clean.
Washed in the blood of your sacrifice.
Come on, we've been washed. Holy Ghost, we bless the name of the Lord. In the name of Jesus, in the name of the Lord, we declare your glory, God. Clean.
Washed in the blood of your sacrifice. Your blood flowed red and made me white. My dirty rags are purified. I am clean. I see shattered. You see whole. I see broken, but you see beautiful.
Come on, somebody pray right now, would you? In the name of Jesus. Somebody lift up the Lord right now. Hallelujah.
I
Somebody just create an atmosphere for the Lord to continue moving. Come on. Oh, the Spirit of the Lord is still moving in this house. The glory of the Lord is still here. Come on, He said He would do it. If we give it to Him, He said He would do it. Come on, it is the word. It is the will of God. It is the plan of God.
Everybody say, thank God for the Holy Ghost. Randy received the baptism of the Holy Ghost tonight. We appreciate that. And there's many that was refilled, if that's the right way to say that. I don't know. Renewed, prayed through, whatever it is. This week, Brother Tim. So thank you and your wife for coming. I know you made a sacrifice. I know you don't mind it, but God bless you for sacrifice. You're working every day, coming up here and preaching and fixing flats. And by way of announcement, we will not have church tomorrow night. We'll establish closing tonight. We'll have a prayer meeting, 7 o'clock. Amen. Everybody say, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. All right, I'm going to ask Brother Mark, if he would, get by totally out to conclude the service.